What's happening, graphic designers? We all have this misconception that graphic design layouts have to be these crazy elaborate things with all types of effects and really pretty things going on. Well, that's not always true, and I'm going to show you that in this episode where we're going to design some labels that are kind of boring, but they're going to also teach you a lot. So let's go. Welcome back, everybody, to the 20th episode of the Graphic Design Layout Bootcamp. My name is Steve Looney from GraphicDesignerTips.com. And in every video, what I do simply is I take a logo that I designed in my previous series that you can learn from called Logo Design Bootcamp. And now I take that logo and without just storing that logo away forever, I put it on some type of a cool graphic design layout for the next half hour that you're going to learn from as a graphic designer. Now, you're going to learn things in this tutorial that you're going to be able to do in your own projects. So follow this entire series, and by the end of it, you will have learned a lot, as if you've taken many semesters in this stuff. So getting back to Torque Toolz, which was the logo that I designed in my previous series, Torque Toolz, I didn't change the logo at all because I was very happy with how it is. Sometimes I update the logos, modernize them a little bit, enhance them. And what I decided to do was I decided to make a couple of creatively designed labels. But labels are actually very simple. Like I said in the intro, labels could be boring looking, but they're still design layouts, and there's certain things you got to follow. You know, you're going to have to add bleed to them. You're going to have to save them a certain way. You're going to have to worry about how many colors based on the printer. You know, you're not going to want lots of colors and stuff like that. So I do address that in this video. And basically, like I said, you're going to learn a lot of stuff. But the coolest thing about this whole entire series is that if you click this button right here, you can download these files without the images that I purchased, the stock vectors, and you can follow along. And basically, you can do step-by-step everything I'm doing. So we're going to jump into Photoshop first to correct an image, and then we're going to jump into Adobe Illustrator CC to design this whole entire thing. So let's go. All right, so looking at the screen right now, the original logo at the top, Torque Toolz, was from the old Logo Design Bootcamp. I didn't make any changes on that logo. The only thing I did change with that logo is with each piece that I designed, I took all the extra details out. So there are not shadowing on it, just to keep it a lot simpler because of the fact that these labels are going to be small labels that we're designing. Now, yes, labels can be very large, but in this case, you know, we're working with tools and just items, small items, bagged items and stuff like that, that these labels, excuse me, would be slapped on. So you don't want too much extra detail. That's tidbit number one. Starting from the top, after I took apart the logo, which I'll show you how to do, I just kind of made a couple quick designs. These are just random sizes, and down here it's more structured, the sizes. But basically, I just wanted to toy around and see what I could come up with, because these could be labels too. Labels can be, you know, I could take these concepts and I could go on this stuff for hours and make dozens and dozens and dozens of different, you know, types of labels, you know, hundreds of them. You know, you just change little things about them and they'll be unique. You know, colors, sizes, wording, everything. So we're going to come down here to what we're actually going to design. And this is a more simpler tutorial, and it might be a little bit shorter than the other ones, but it's still going to teach you a lot of things in here. I'm going to show you how to make artboards, of course, because you need to know those. I'm going to show you in the end how to make bleeds and finalize this stuff. I'm going to show you how to do certain keyboard command shortcuts to paste stuff in back of itself to make, you know, these borders around, these white, you know, separation borders. Same thing on here. Same thing here. I'm also going to show you how to get a QR code and set that up to actually turn it into a vector so you can use it for your artwork. And we'll see along the way. Always going to learn lots of stuff in here. But let me first start, because we have an image in here. We're going to jump into Adobe Photoshop. Okay, so now we're in Adobe Photoshop, and this is a stock photo that I purchased through bigstockphoto.com, and I basically just dragged it into Photoshop. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up so it is the correct file size for the canvas size that I have. Because if we come into image size, you're going to notice that it's saying it's basically around 43 megabytes. And at 300 resolution, the best it's going to look is at 15 inches in width and 10 inches in height, almost 11. So Basically what that's saying is it's going to look that good when it's that big, but you don't need it to look that good that big. We can make the document size smaller because of the size of the labels, and it's still going to retain that 300 resolution, that crispness. The main point of this is it's not going to give you a ginormous file. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the width right here, as long as constraint proportions is checked. We're going to keep 300 resolution, and we're just going to type out 5 and see what happens. So we're talking about a 5x3. You know what? I'm actually going to be safe. I'm going to go 6 because we're going to actually scale this within the clipping masks we make. And I'm now going to hit OK. The next thing you're going to want to make sure is you're going to want to make sure you come up to image mode CMYK color. And that's it. We're going to go to File. We're going to save as. I'm going to save it as a PSD just in case I want to make changes to it. And I'm just going to name this Tool Photo as a Photoshop document. And right now I'm just going to save that to my desktop. Now we're in Adobe Illustrator CC, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to copy some of this stuff over so I can reference it. We're going to go to File, New, and we're going to make a file. You can name whatever you want. I'm going to name this test file, and I'm going to make 3 artboards. You can actually start with 1 or just, but I'm going to do 3 for now because 3 of them are going to be those 3x3. If I move this 1, 2, 3, 3x3. Little artboard right there. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the width, make that 3, make the height 3, make sure it was inches, and bleed. All right, cool. We're going to just hit that little arrow up. It's going to make 1/8 of an inch bleed, 0.125 all around. So it's going to overall, like make it an extra 1/4 inch basically. Advanced mode, you're going to want to say CMYK, raster effects high, 300 pixels per inch, and now we're going to hit OK. All right, so that's our document with the 3 artboards on it. What I'm first going to do is I'm going to come up to View, and I'm going to hide my guides. So I'm going to come into here and go to Hide Guides, because I don't want to see them yet. You can also go to Command colon or semicolon, and that'll turn them on and off. So I'm going to turn them off again. I'm now going to come up to Document Setup right here, or you can come over to the Artboards area. Hit Document Setup, then Edit Artboards, and I'm just going to take this artboard, number 3, and I'm going to move it over here so they're all in a line. So that's going to be for our first 3. Let me just jump back into here real quick. Let's see. I'm going to copy all of this over. I'm just going to put it to the left for right now, just so we have something to reference. The very next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make these 2 artboards down here for these, the horizontal label. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into New Artboard. See, I'm showing you a different way of doing this. We're going to click here, this little icon, and it's going to give us some options to now change the actual size. So the width of this is going to be 4.5, and the height is going to be 3/4, 0.75. We're now going to hit OK. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to come back into Document Setup, Edit Artboards. I'm going to pull that down here. And to teach you one more thing, we're going to hit, let's see. We're just going to click off of here. I hit V on my keyboard to get back to my regular arrow, then I clicked off. What we're basically going to do is we're going to take this artboard, we're going to hold down, and we're going to drag it into the new layer. It's going to duplicate that layer. Lastly, again, Document Setup, Edit Artboards. See, I'm just trying to make my canvas not seem so crazy right now. As you can see, I actually just created another artboard accidentally. So I'm going to come up here to the top right and hit that little X. See you later. And now we have our 5 artboards. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this logo over here. Okay? And I'm just going to zoom in real quick so you can see all these extras behind it. And you're going to be able to use this logo in here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click the logo. I'm going to ungroup it. Okay? Now, within that group, there are subgroups because of the way that I built the logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this entire screw right here. I'm going to hold Shift, take this screw. I'm going to hold Shift again, and I'm going to take this whole piece and I'm going to drag it down. So it removes it from all that back stuff. I also want this little tagline, which is outlined, so I'm going to have to retype this in for the other ones. I'm now going to select all this and I'm going to delete. All right. What I told you before is I just wanted to have some fun with these other labels, just to kind of show you what to do. So basically, I can go through real quick on making these 4 labels, and then I'm really going to spend time down here. But basically, I'm going to hit Command 2 to lock this. All right, I'm going to delete. All right. So what I did was I basically took the word Torque Tools without the tagline. I grouped it, so go to Command G. And I'm going to pull it on here. We're going to we're going to scale this down, but you got to hold Shift and Option when you do that so it doesn't get all screwed up and out of proportion. And now, while you have your fill selected, you're going to hit white to fill it. And then you're saying, wait, where is it? I don't see it. The reason being is because it's behind the object. So you want to now go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, or I believe it's Shift Command close bracket. Yes. All right. See, when you do this for so long, you don't even, you know the keyboard commands. Your hand this moves with your mind. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Now we're gonna type out the right, all caps. For, I think I did space and then dash space. The right job. And escape. And we're now going to turn that white. And I'm going to scale this up just a little bit, and I want to put a lot of tracking in here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come to my character, and I'm just going to set the tracking to like 275, somewhere around there, 300. We're going to scale this down a little bit. See, in the original, I made sure that screw went right through where the letters were, which, where the words were, excuse me, where they separated, so it would work pretty well. But you're going to have to figure out, a custom way of doing this because we're changing this label around apparently. The next thing I'm going to do is basically I am going to create the one to the right of it. And I'm going to do that by copying the whole entire thing over. And very simply, I'm going to go to Command C and Command B. So I just copied it and pasted it behind itself, that whole red square. And for right now, I'm going to hold Option, and I'm just going to pull this top point up, and it's going to expand at the bottom too. I'm going to fill this with white, and it's going to disappear. You're not going to see it. Okay? Now what I want to do is I want to go to Command C, Command B again, and this is before you click off anything. You want to make sure you're not clicking yet. And now you're going to hit Option, and you're going to scale that up again. We're going to let go. We're going to fill it with black. And now I'm just going to take the top without holding Option this time, scale it down. Make it a little bit thin on the top, not the bottom. Actually make the bottom a little bit larger. So basically what you did there, and if you're just watching this tutorial and you just learned that, trust me, that will help you out with a lot of things. You can end the tutorial right now and you'll have successfully learned something. And let me know in the comments if you learned that for the first time because it's pretty cool. But basically what I did was I took this red square, rectangle, and I'm going to lock it so I can select what's behind it. Then I made one right behind it, and I'm going to show you as if I was to put yellow in it. All right, this is it hiding right behind it, but it's in white. And then I sent it to the back again, copied it again, and I filled it with black. So you basically have 1, 2, there's the white, and there's the black. So that's that label. Oh, we're going to move that down, and boom. Obviously, you'd want to, refine this and also find out what is the exact size of the label that your client wants to do, or the printer who's printing the labels, what size do they need it? They might not want the gradient in here. This might need to be a solid color based on printing pricing with multiple colors. So if it was a spot color or a single color, just like this, I just changed it to, it still looks great. So let's see the next one that I did. Excuse me, a little bit stuffy today. All right, so basically, I'm just going to copy this one. So I'm going to take the whole thing and hold Option and then click and move it. And basically, all I did with this one was, all right, we're going to scale it out a little bit. Okay, I know what I did. We're going to take that white box and we're going to delete it. We're going to scale this down just a little bit. And now we're going to hit Command C, Command B again. And we're going to scale this out a little bit. And then without clicking off of it, we're going to fill it with white. Boom. All right. You can also go in here and refine, and you can already tell there's less room over here than there is from here to here. So you're probably going to want to pull that down a little bit. You don't have to get exact dimensions as long as you can't see it with the eye. I say this all the time. I know it's on a sloppy way of doing things. If you want to refine stuff, do it in the end. Don't waste your time doing it now, because the client might say, I don't like it. And you wasted another 5-10 minutes on each piece refining them. So, just do a good enough job, and then you do all that stuff later. All right, so that one is, boom, that one's done. And the very last one, and this is all about teaching you just the shortcuts. I'm going to go to Option. I'm going to click this one, copy it down here. I'm going to click. I'm going to go to Command-C, Command-F, and I'm just going to literally from the top, without holding anything on the keyboard, I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to fill it with black, and I'm going to hit the down arrow twice or 3 times or whatever. So basically, I just created these 4 little labels while I was talking to you, a few minutes. But if I was doing this on my own, listening to some music, I would have got these all done in 2 minutes. So, it's just learning little tools on how to do this. So let's get into the actual tutorial now, because I wanted to go over that first. The first thing we need to do is we need to get that image back in our canvas so we can work with it. And we're going to do that by going to File, Place. And I believe I saved it right on my desktop. Yes, I did. And I am going to find it. It's called Tool Photo. All right, I'm just going to throw it right there for now. I'm going to get a little bit of a reference. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way. 1, 2, 3. Make my nice clean canvas a little bit messy now. All right. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up to our rectangle tool, and we're going to click. We're going to type out 3, hit Tab, and then 3. So 3 by 3, and we're going to hit OK. All right. Very simply, we're going to put the rectangle over the image. It has to be over the image. We're going to now select both, and we're going to right-click and make a clipping mask. It will not work if it's under the image. Okay. Now I'm just going to zoom in, make sure it's where I want it to be. All right. Okay, cool. All right, so basically what I want to do now is I want to hit A on my keyboard to get the direct selection. That'll allow me to augment the photo inside the clipping mask without moving the whole piece as a whole. Try it with the other arrow, you'll see what I'm saying. Hit E on the keyboard to transform, and now we're just going to scale this down a little bit. And remember, it's going to basically cut out right here on the image, so I want that hammer to show, because hammer is this is, you see the wrench over here, you see the ruler, you see the pliers up there, so it's going to be more, they're going to more notice the hammer than anything else, because that's the center point of the whole image. And let's see, what I want to do now is we could either come up to our labels or we can create new stuff, but why do the same thing twice? I'm going to basically come down, let's see, which one am I going to take? I'm going to take this one right here. I'm going to delete the black, and I'm going to take my whole label. I'm just going to go to Option, click. Option, click. I'm going to copy it over here. I'm now going to go to Object Arrange, Bring to Front, or the keyboard command shortcut to do that. All right, we're just going to scale this. And then I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to select this. I'm going to go to Command-C, Command-B. I'm going to pull it to the bottom, and I'm going to fill it with black. All right. If you notice, I have some things going on here. They don't go to the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image in the back. I'm going to hit Command-2 to lock it. And now when I roll over it, I won't select the image. I'll just select those elements. Now I'm just going to pull that to the end. All right, and we're going to add a bleed later on this anyway. And I'm basically just going to pull my tagline over there like so. Go to Object Arrange, Bring to Front. Okay, cool. That is number 1. Now, number 2, the reason I did the circular logo is because there are circular logos out there. Labels, excuse me. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to make an ellipse. You could either, you can make it 3 by 3, just like so. Yep, you know what? Yeah, do that. I'm sorry. We can freehand draw it in there. But make it 3 by 3 just to be safe. Same thing. We're going to, let's see. I'm just going to copy this image, go to Option, click Shift. I'm going to right-click and release clipping mask. See, I could have placed the image again, but then I couldn't teach you how to do the clipping mask right there. So I'm just going to basically put it behind this again, and if it's not, you can go to Object Arrange, Send to Back. I'm going to right-click. I'm going to select both, then right-click, make clipping mask. All right, you see? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is well, I can do this a few ways. Let's do it this way. Let me see something. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to take this circle and I'm going to take the eyedropper and I'm going to select this gradient right here. All right, and as I move this any which way, it's going to obviously change the size of my area down there. That's probably the best way to do this. What I actually did, and you're going to see this on the file that I gave to you. It's funny because there's so many ways to do things. What I did was I made this an actual image. And I did that by using the Pathfinder, but in this case, I think this actually works better. I'm now going to take a rectangle, put white in it. I'm going to separate this just like so. Okay, and this is going to be okay because this stuff is going to bleed. We're going to add the bleed on it, and it's going to be fine in the end. You might have to move this up a little bit. Actually, yeah, we definitely do. So we're not cutting it too close. Scale that down a little bit. Always leave room. See that extra that's hanging out? A lot of extra over here for the bleed. Move that down a little bit. Cool. Now we're going to go to Option click and we're going to shift that logo over. Send it to the front with our keyboard command shortcut. Shift Command close bracket. Next thing, we're going to go to Option click. We're going to shift that over. Same thing, tagline. Boom, there is label number 2. Label number 3 is actually the easiest, well, one of the easiest. I'm now going to go to Option click. I'm going to shift. I'm basically going to take that same background and move it over here. There's a white box there. Oh, wait. Oh, no, that's a clipping mask. I'm now going to hit A on my keyboard and open up that clipping mask. Okay, actually, you know what? The clipping mask, as you can see, is the size of the 3x3. So I'm now going to scale this hammer up. Yep, I remember now. That's what I did. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let me show you a different way to do this. Because, yeah, you can make another rectangle. Let me just put that in the right spot. You can make another rectangle, but you want to make sure it's completely center perfect. So what you want to do is you want to click this entire piece, hit Command C to copy. We're now going to go to Command 2 to lock. We're now going to go to Command F to paste in front. And we're going to scale this down. And we're going to hit A on our keyboard, select the image in the middle, and we're going to hit delete. So now if we click and hover over, you're going to see we have a box right here. All right, we're now going to hit the eyedropper or eye on the keyboard, and we're going to select our gradient from earlier. All right, and that didn't select a gradient, that selected a whole color. Let's see why. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I still have to release clipping mask on this. All right, now we'll be able to do that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're literally just going to take our logo and we're going to change it up just a little bit. And I'm going to make sure I select all these and hit Command 2 to lock it. I'm going to go to Option click. I'm going to shift this over. Now I'm going to go to Object Arrange, bring to front, and I'm going to ungroup everything. I'm now going to take this right half of the logo. Oh, wait, again, it's still grouped. So we're going to ungroup again. We'll take this right half of the logo. Wow. What did I do here? All right, we're going to hit ungroup again. And third time's always a charm. There we go. So we're going to move that down. We're going to hit Command G to group it. We're going to select all this up here. We're going to hit Command G to group that. And the only thing I want to point out is you see how these lines end where the letters do and they basically follow the same angle? It doesn't work on this anymore because we just changed the logo up. So we're going to hit A on our keyboard to get the white direct selection arrow. We're going to click on the line. Hold shift when you're clicking on the line segment, and then we're going to pull that over. And now here we're just going to click the point, and there we're just going to click the point and get on that little angle right there. So it pretty much flows. All right, so now we're going to take this entire logo, scale it up a bit so it fits in there, not too snug, but good enough. I'm going to come back here, same thing. Right tool for the right job. See, in In this instance, I put it on 2 lines. And I messed around with the leading to for the spacing between the 2 lines here. And the last thing, to separate it from the background, again, you're going to now go to Object, Unlock All, okay, or knowing the keyboard command shortcut's great for that too. Command C and Command B, we're going to paste it behind, scale it up, and put some white in it just to knock it off from that back. Okay, cool. So now we have our 3 labels. All right, we got 2 more labels to go. Actually, you know what? It's really, yeah, it's 2 more, but it's basically the same, just different background color. We're going to hit the rectangle again, and we're going to do 4.5 by 0.75. Hit OK. Move that into place. Going to select that gradient background. I'm just going to copy all this over because by this time you should be an expert on this. I copy this over. I'm going to hit T on our keyboard, and we're going to type out scan code to view product details. We're going to hit escape. And if you notice something funky going on with this, I'll tell you what it is. We're going to fill it with white first. We're going to change this to a bold italics font. And I'm going to come into character. I'm going to change my tracking to 0. There's too much space after the lettering. Okay. And now I'm going to come up to the paragraph and align it to the center. And I'm going to scale it down. Hold Shift and Option at the same time when you scale that down. The very last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google, which is where I search for everything. I'm going to type in QR code. I'm now going to click on any of these websites where you can basically create one. Graphic designer tips.com. All right, here's my QR code. It just formulated for me. Download QR code, and just going to save that to the desktop. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to File, Place. I'm going to find that QR code. I'm going to double click it. Now it's going to appear on my canvas. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to hit Image Trace right up here, or you can go to Object, Image Trace, Make. All right, and see what it does. It does kind of make it a little bit funky, but it's still going to scan. It's still going to be fine. We're now going to hit Expand. All right, so now you see its actual elements. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a box, and I'm going to throw that red behind it. I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. And the reason I did this is because you're going to see all this white. We got to get rid of that white. We're going to hit A on our keyboard to do this. We're going to select every piece of white. So that, boom, there's one. And I'm just going to go through this. All right, you got to do this with the direct selection, the white arrow. We're hitting A on your keyboard. Let me just back that one up. Almost there. Okay, cool. So now we did all that. So basically, we're going to fill this with white, and we have our QR code that we can now knock out of that color. We're going to scale this down just a little bit, and I check the size. It still scans perfectly, even though it's only 3/4 of an inch high. And the last thing I did with that last label, I'm just going to go to Option click. I'm going to shift this down, and it's a little off to the right. That's okay. We're going to fix that. Cool. Boom. There's our black. Everything looks kick-ass on that. And I'm going to take all this extra stuff that I don't need in my document, and I'm just going to delete it for now. We're going to now come into View. Again, Guides, Show Guides. All right, so now we have our guides pop back on everything. All right, and now we're just going to add our bleeds very simply, and we're going to save this baby, and we're going to get going. We're going to first make sure everything is unlocked by going to Object, Unlock All. If it's grayed out, that means everything is unlocked. We're going to hit Command A to select everything. We're going to go to Shift Command O, or type Create Outlines, which is right there. All right, so I just did that. What we're now going to do is we're going to hit A on our keyboard. All right, we're going to select our images. I'll tell you why. 1, 2, 3. We're going to hit Command 2. We're going to lock them. What we're now going to do is, because I selected that image, I can actually mess around with each clipping mask at one time, or each element at one time. I don't have to do one at a time, basically. I don't know if that just made sense, but basically hit A on your keyboard to get the white arrow. You're going to hover over all these points right here and just, we're going to move the arrow to the right. I think that was like 9 clicks, something like that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Same thing with the top. All right. Same thing with the bottom. Cool. Moving on to the middle. This one's going to be a little bit trickier, but we're up for the task, aren't we? Let's see. How should we do this? The best way, let me think about this real quick. All right, because we don't want that to happen. All right, lock that. We're going to take all these elements in here. We're going to hit Command 2, lock that, lock that. Again, we're going to take our direct selection. We're going to hover over all this. We're going to E on our keyboard, and we're going to scale it up. Boom, there we go. Okay, so this worked out perfectly. So the only thing that you have to be just a little concerned of is right here, because there's a little bit if they don't cut this perfectly. So, you know, just to be safe, I'll shift this over a little bit. And basically what it did, we added enough bleed. We could probably add some more, but I'm going to take another ellipse tool, and I'm going to show you where the real label would be. All right, if we were to do this, our canvas that we created, our real label is there. So that's all the extra that we really gave them. So that's enough for that die cut to cut out for the bleed. Same thing with here. We got to lock that, which we did earlier, but unfortunately I unlocked it. I'm confusing you now. We're going to add the bleeds on this. 9. Actually, really like that image in the background. It's pretty cool. Same thing here. There's no images to lock, so we're just going to, on practice makes perfect, wax on, wax off. You see how I can do both elements on both artboards at the same time. Actually, you know what? Let's do this trick. Let's do this. Let's take this, and we'll hold shift, and now we'll take this whole line down here. See what happens. Oh, nice. Actually, not nice. Oh, yes, nice. Never mind. I just didn't do the top here. Okay, so the one thing I will add is what I should not have done is I should not have created outlines yet, because you always want to save your file with bleeds to come back to them later. That bleed, you know, it takes a couple minutes to do, and it's annoying. You don't want to do it over and over. You want to do it once. Then you want to create an outline. So I apologize, but I'm now letting you know this, and I'm sure you didn't leave the video yet, so now you know. Please note that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Save As, or File Save As, and we're going to save it as a PDF to our desktop. Test file PDF. Going to do a high quality print. I'll uncheck Preserve Illustrator Edit Capabilities just to make a quick small PDF. Save PDF. All right, and we're just going to go to right here, Test File PDF. Okay, so I did this on purpose just so you would see. If I look at my PDF, you're going to notice it's 3 by 3, but there's no added bleed on it. What you want to do is you want to now come back in here and go to File, Save As, and you want to get back to that PDF screen, and you want to now go to Marks and Bleeds. Click on Trim Marks, click on Bleeds, click this up right here, and now we're going to hit Save PDF. We're going to reopen it. There we go. All right, so we're going to scroll through this now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Isn't that beautiful? That's it for this tutorial. So please, in the comments, let me know what you learned. And, you know, the commenting and the liking is the most important part, because a lot of work gets put in this. I basically dedicate a whole day to this. So thank you. So thank you again for checking out another episode of the Graphic Design Layout Bootcamp. Hit the subscribe button up here to make sure that you do not miss these videos every time they come out. You'll know before anybody else. And in the comment section below, let me know a couple things. What you learned, what you liked about the video, and what you'd like to see in the remaining episodes in this series, because there's only a couple left And then after this series, I'm obviously going to be starting a new series. So let me know in the comments below. Please share us out on our social networks. There's a lot of work that goes into these videos. So again, please share it out so your friends, your colleagues, your classmates can all benefit from these teachings. And here are a couple other episodes from the series so far. If you missed them, the best thing you want to do is to be structured, start at episode 1, and then go on from there. And last thing is take the challenge, take the files I have provided to you, and redesign them into something completely different. And then send them to me on social networks or in my email. I'll critique it or send it out to everybody else so they can see how other professional artists do things. So that's it, everybody. My name is Steve Looney from graphicdesignertips.com, and I will see you for the next tutorial video. Have a great night. Thank you. Peace.